From humble workhorses to engineering marvels, COMMER lorries powered Britain's roads for nearly 7 decades. Curious about the story behind these iconic vehicles? Stick around to uncover their fascinating history. Our story begins in earnest at the start of the 20th century when a small company called Commercial Cars Limited set up shop in Luton, England. Founded in 1905, the company had a singular mission: to produce vehicles that could take on Britain's rapidly expanding industrial needs. By 1907, they were producing their first commercial vehicles, later marketed under the well-known COMMER name. By the time the RC series rolled out in the 1910s, Britain was experiencing the rise of urbanization and industrial growth. The RC series suited the era perfectly. Designed for functionality and durability, these lorries were ideal for businesses looking to transport goods efficiently across town to neighboring regions. They weren't glamorous by any stretch, but they were dependable workhorses with petrol engines under the bonnet, an exciting shift from the earlier, slower steam-powered vehicles. During this period, COMMER established its reputation for prioritizing durability over flashiness. Practicality was the name of the game, and the RC series became a common sight, pulling their weight in the UK's burgeoning commercial sectors. These lorries were particularly noted for their simplicity in design, which made them relatively easy to maintain, a crucial factor in an era when access to specialized mechanics was scarce. It wasn't long before the success of the RC series cemented COMMER's standing in the lorry-making industry. By 1911, production in Luton had grown to such an extent that COMMER was capable of supplying lorries that catered to various industries, from breweries to shipping companies. The RC series might have been outmoded within a generation or two, but its importance in setting the standard for industrial transportation cannot be overlooked. The 1930s were not the easiest of times, marked by a global economic depression. Yet this was the decade when COMMER demonstrated its resilience and ability to innovate with the launch of the N series. This new line of lorries was tailored to meet the increasing demand for vehicles that could accommodate heavier loads while maintaining excellent reliability. The N series offered improved engineering compared to its predecessors, incorporating advancements that made it more robust and useful for long-distance haulage. The N series also reflected a steep change in design philosophy. Instead of focusing solely on function, these lorries offered a more refined appearance, sleek for their time, that appealed to the businesses operating in a competitive market. Under the umbrella of the Roots Group, which acquired COMMER in the late 1920s, the company had access to better engineering resources and manufacturing processes. This collaboration undoubtedly improved the N-series structural and mechanical quality. One key feature of the N-series was its enhanced drivetrain, which helped it manage heavier loads with greater ease. This enhanced COMMER's earlier reputation for reliability and turned heads among its industrial clientele. Whether used for transporting coal, timber, or other goods critical to Britain's economy, the N-series trucks carried their loads with unwavering dependability. The series also served as a precursor to the forward control designs that would come to define some of COMMER's most famous models. While they weren't quite there yet, the engineers behind the N-series were already exploring ways to increase cargo capacity without extending the length of the vehicle excessively. Overall, the N-series became a symbol of COMMER's growth during a turbulent era. It kept Britain moving at a time when efficient transportation was essential, providing businesses with a tough, reliable tool to weather economic challenges. It also set the stage for brighter innovations of the post-war years. The outbreak of the Second World War in 1939 marked a turning point in COMMER's history. Like many manufacturers, the company shifted its focus from commercial production to supporting the war effort. This period saw the development of the Q2 and Q4 military lorries, which became essential vehicles for Britain and her allies during the conflict. The Q2 and Q4 were built with ruggedness in mind, capable of operating in harsh conditions and over rough terrain. Their sturdy chassis and straightforward mechanical designs made them reliable even in the unpredictable situations of wartime logistics. These lorries were used for everything from transporting troops and supplies to towing equipment, proving vital on both the Western Front and beyond. But COMMER didn't stop innovating once the war was over. The late 1940s brought the introduction of the Q series, which repurposed some of the engineering lessons learned from wartime designs into vehicles for civilian use. One of the defining features of the Q series was its forward control design. By placing the cab over the engine, engineers were able to maximize the vehicle's payload area without increasing its overall size. This was a significant advantage for industries operating in cramped city environments where every inch of space mattered. Designed for versatility, the Q-Series found favor in industries ranging from goods delivery to construction. They were often used as flatbeds or fitted with specialized bodies to suit specific industries. The compact yet spacious design of the cab made them easier to maneuver in tight urban streets, a feature that delivery drivers in post-war cities greatly appreciated. The Q Series also marked COMMER's return to peacetime production with renewed vigor, coming out of a war that reshaped industries and societies alike. This range of lorries was a symbol of resilience and reconstruction. With the UK rebuilding its infrastructure and economy, the Q Series emerged as a dependable partner for businesses across the nation. Together, the wartime Q2 and Q4 models and the post-war Q Series showcased COMMER's ability to adapt to the times. Whether carrying ammunition across battlefields or shifting goods around bustling cities, these lorries reflected the ingenuity and dedication that defined COMMER's contributions during the 1940s. The aftermath of World War II was a period of rebuilding and recovery, and COMMER positioned themselves at the forefront of this industrial revival. Among their most notable achievements during this time was the Super Poise line, introduced in the late 1940s. These lorries boasted a diversity of wheelbases and payload capacities, making them adaptable to a range of industries, whether it was construction materials, agricultural produce, or raw goods. A Super Poise could be tailored to the job at hand. Unlike many competitors, COMMER managed to seamlessly merge style with strength, sleek designs that didn't compromise durability. At the heart of the Super Poise was a focus not just on function, but on driver comfort too. These lorries featured updated suspension systems and improved visibility from the cab, meaning they weren't just reliable for operators, but also a little easier on the body during long-distance hauls. This emphasis on practicality and usability became a hallmark of COMMER during these recovery years. The defining innovation, however, came in 1954, with the introduction of the TS3 knocker engine. This engineering marvel was first fitted to the QX lorry, and it quickly turned heads and ears with its distinctive sound and novel design. The TS3 was an opposed piston, two-stroke diesel engine that featured 6 pistons and 3 cylinders. It was compact, but don't be fooled. It was a powerhouse, producing 105 horsepower and a torque rating of 270 pounds per foot. This performance was on par with much larger engines, but the TS3's real edge was its remarkable efficiency. For haulage operators of the 1950s, cost-effectiveness was crucial, and the TS3 delivered in spades. Its innovative design not only reduced weight, but also conserved fuel while maintaining excellent power output. This efficiency made it ideal for both cross-country hauls and urban deliveries, cementing the QX's reputation as a commercial champion. But it wasn't just performance that endeared the TS3 to drivers, it was the experience. The signature knock-knock sound gave the engine its nickname, the COMMER knocker, and became a nostalgic echo of British logistics for anyone who encountered it. Another unheralded strength of the TS3 design was its ease of maintenance. Thanks to its unusual layout, key components could be accessed without having to remove the engine from the vehicle. This meant less downtime for operators and more time out on the roads. It's no wonder that TS3 garnered a loyal following, with decades-old units still lovingly restored and preserved by enthusiasts today, a testament to its groundbreaking design and resilient performance. The combination of the Super Poise range and the TS3 engine set a new benchmark for COMMER and reinforced the company's commitment to innovation. Together, they carried the brand into a prosperous post-war era. By the 1960s, the needs of transport companies were evolving. The post-war boom in infrastructure projects and industrial growth meant greater demand for lorries capable of hauling heavier loads. Never one to shy away from a challenge, COMMER stepped up with the Maxi Load, a name that captured its primary purpose brilliantly. The Maxi Load was introduced as a heavy-duty workhorse with a reinforced chassis that could endure the physical demands of larger payloads. While its design prioritized strength, it also retained COMMER's knack for offering thoughtful touches to the operator. Driver comfort was steadily improved across the industry, and COMMER ensured the Maxi Load kept pace. The cabs were fitted with additional insulation to reduce noise and heat, and seating was adjusted for improved ergonomics, critical upgrades for long-haul drivers. The Maxi Load was also built with flexibility in mind. A range of configurations allowed buyers to choose the best match for their industry, from tipper designs to flatbeds for construction use. This variety increased its popularity across sectors, from agriculture to heavy goods haulage. Powering the Maxi Load was an advanced version of the TS3 knocker engine, upgraded to deliver 117 horsepower and a beefier torque output of 310 pounds per foot. This added power transformed the vehicle into a mighty contender in its class. Despite dealing with larger payloads, the Maxi Load retained impressive fuel efficiency for the time, a feature that found favor as operating costs began to matter more in an increasingly competitive market. The Maxi Load also benefited from COMMER's decision to emphasize durability. These were not vehicles that gave up after a few years. They were built to last, forming the backbone of many fleets across Britain and even further afield. Operators trusted that their investment in a Maxi Load would see them through years of punishing work without excessive maintenance costs. Beyond its technical achievements, the Maxi Load represented COMMER's adaptability. It showed their willingness to expand into a heavier transport category while maintaining the innovation and practicality that won customers over for decades. The 1970s marked a turbulent decade, not just for COMMER, but for the British automotive industry as a whole. Economic pressures, rising material costs, and intensifying competition from continental European and American manufacturers began to erode COMMER's position in the market. While their vehicles remained practical and efficient, the company faced challenges in keeping up with the demand for modernization, especially in areas like emissions and safety regulations. By now, COMMER was fully under the control of Chrysler, which had acquired a majority share in the Rootes Group during the mid-1960s. While Chrysler injected resources and technical expertise, the relationship wasn't without strain. Chrysler's increasing influence meant that COMMER's distinctive identity gradually became diluted within a larger corporate framework. One particularly significant challenge was the rise of diesel-powered competitors offering smoother rides and greater efficiency with new engine designs. The TS3, while legendary, was beginning to show its age. Its compact design and unique operational characteristics had served the company brilliantly for nearly 2 decades, but by the 1970s, it was outpaced by innovations coming from manufacturers like Leyland and Bedford. Financial troubles also plagued Chrysler itself during this period, which ultimately affected its British operations. Investment in new COMMER models lagged, leaving the company vulnerable in a rapidly evolving market. Additionally, stricter regulations surrounding vehicle emissions forced manufacturers to adapt at great cost, and this was an area where COMMER struggled to compete. Despite these challenges, one thing remained constant. COMMER lorries still found their way into working fleets, a testament to their enduring reputation for practicality and durability. Even as production wound down by 1976, the models already on the roads continued to prove their worth for years to come. The end of COMMER as a standalone brand was undoubtedly a loss, but its legacy didn't fade. Many of the design principles pioneered by the company influenced the vehicles that replaced them. Collectors and restorers have ensured that the iconic knocker sound and the sight of a COMMER lorry remain alive even today. The 1970s were a difficult chapter for COMMER, but perhaps their struggles symbolized the broader challenges faced by British vehicle manufacturers during this time. While the brand is no longer with us, its story serves as a reminder of British ingenuity, even in the face of changing tides and immense obstacles.